You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Bring back that beat, DJ. This mother. Who put that? I was thrown by this note. That's
did.
in there, huh?
You put that in there. Look like
No, I didn't.
It says you.
It says you.
Yeah, I that's why I see, but I didn't put that note in there.
I was like,
really
they
did.
must have copied and pasted.
I mean, I have no idea how they got there, unless maybe because, you know what? Maybe because my name is on the string. You selected my profile as a destination,
right?
That's a pinned quote in my own profile, so it must just be automatic.
I was like, because you definitely typed it.
Oh no, it's a pinned quote in my profile.
Okay. Just $1 with an A. Yeah,
but I ain't mad at it. Shit, hell, you put this motherfucker up there. Hell, I ain't mad at it. I wish I'd have thought about it.
Facebook throwing you a quick assist.
Bounce pass. Hell, let me see what I can do with that. Rim rocket.
Welcome to the Fourcast. We review movies, films, documentaries a completely different way for different perspectives.
Keisha Harper Williams over here making comments already.
This was a group collective, Keisha. But we're back again reviewing. We haven't done a throwback since I just thought about it. But it's been a minute since we did a throwback. So we figured we'd do one tonight. We're going to take a 2-week break. And then when we get back, we'll have something more heavy hitting like what we normally do. Go ahead, A-Trap.
Seeing how we're coming up on a year in February, I was, if y'all not busy next week, I was hoping we could do a show like a year-end show, or we can just wait to February and do an anniversary show. But I was hoping we could do like a year-end show, since we don't have to review a movie. We could just talk about best movies that we've seen in this calendar year, most fun we've had, worst movies, stuff like that. It just popped in my head as soon as you said that.
We actually could do that. Let's talk about that, because Wednesday we don't currently have a show as of right now. That kind of fell off a little bit, so we could do Wednesday at like 8:30 possibly. So yeah, let's talk about it possibly. But Hollywood Shuffle, it's a black cinema quote unquote classic, can maybe say. But we definitely want to do a throwback, do something a little light. We did Till last week, which had you, your mama, and everybody angry. So we're gonna bring the tensions down a little bit as we get into the end of this holiday season. But let's go ahead and go around the room. A-Trap, how you doing?
I'm dope, man. I mean, I had a good time chilling with CJ and my man Justin last week. It was good, man. It was good to be on that show. So I can't complain, man.
Good.
I don't have no problems.
Like some people say, it's not gonna do you no good anyway.
No. Thank you, Alfred.
Yeah, Alfred.
Man, Alfred never takes a day off, man.
I'm gonna be like CJ tonight. I'm just rocking the solo cup.
Last week he was taking him to the head, Jack. CJ was hot.
And then he go work out after that. To be young. Wilkes, how you doing?
I'm good. Doing all right. Hanging in there. All rested up as much as I can be, anyway.
What you got? What you got in the glass? Yeah.
Whiskey sour.
the pinky up. Enjoy.
Indeed.
Doc, how you doing?
I'm fantastic, man. I need to address Miss Keisha Harper Williams over here because she talking too much trash, and she must done forgot who on the show, and that we don't really take too kindly to motherfucker talking about don't do another throwback show. We invite you to never call here a damn again.
Lose our number.
Yeah.
Didn't she recommend a throwback show a while back?
Go to Siskel and Ebert shit if you got a problem with us doing throwbacks.
And it's been a minute. It's been the last one we did. Last one we did was Posse.
Just because you didn't like this one.
I don't even remember when
she probably want one that's nasty like penitentiary and shit where they doing it in the bathroom.
A whole bunch of sweaty nipples.
Yeah.
Shit, we invite you to never call damn here again.
What was that movie? Was it called no damn more?
That's the ticket. That's what Norm said one time.
But I thought they did that in the movie
I thought
too.
that was in a movie too.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought it was like they kept calling the restaurant. He was like, "Don't you call her no damn more."
Yeah, I haven't seen that. But Norm said it to a caller to the radio show one time. He goes, "We invite you to never call damn here again." And they was messing with it because his cuss words didn't go together.
It didn't go together. That was his first time cussing. Yeah,
right.
I had never heard that before. You got me on that one.
I feel like that was in like I'm gonna get you sucker or something.
Yeah,
like
I remember it vaguely now that you mentioned it.
Trey Natural's in the building. Thank you for tuning in.
Because I forget every time after the show, so I'm gonna go right now.
I think the link is in the.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah,
might be a little far back,
chat, right?
Yeah, maybe a little far back.
Last week or the week before.
Yeah, we done did a lot of shit talking since then.
Yeah. Cedar said, I don't know if y'all. Good luck, but I just hit 400 on the craps table. I got my earphones on. Y'all done got me my numbers.
What casino? I'm gonna say it like the old black folks said. What casino you at?
Yeah, what casino?
What casino? Keisha said, Dawkins, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Show enough. Big of the noise in the building. Thank you for tuning in. And I was probably Miss Theodora Blue Streak Freak in the building. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so we took it back. We took it way back. This film was
back in time.
Back into time, but 1987. 87. This is right around the time Eddie was killing it. You know, whatever film that was out during that time, Eddie was more than.
Oh, matter of fact, Harlem Nights was out around that time.
Yeah, Coming to America, I think was probably like the year after, right? I think that was like 88.
Yeah, it was 88, I thought. And then you had I'm Gonna Get You Sucker and School Days.
Raw.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. I had the Raw. That's right. Forgot about the stand-ups.
Yep.
Speaking of Raw, I had a great weekend. What about y'all?
I mean, I said he's raw dogging it this weekend.
I didn't say that, man.
Well, it led into that.
I mean, it could be, you know,
which other way was it
going?
I was just saying.
They have raw foods. You know, that's a lot of, you know.
Which other way was it going?
Pretty sure that means raw dogging it, but okay.
Oh, speaking of, let me give a shout out to John Yogi Lewis of the Man Talk Mondays podcast right here on
I wish I had it known.
BS3 Network. When I say that cat put on a show, man. When I say consummate professional, man, he was fantastic, man. Fantastic. Thank you, Trey Naturals. You recognize the comedic stylings of a king like myself. I appreciate you.
He will be here all week.
But he throwed down though, man. You know, he really did. So look forward to doing some more big things with him, BS3 Network specific. We're gonna have to get him something where we post on the Roku TV channel and whatnot. Yeah, you know, because he did it. I didn't really want to endorse him before now because I thought he was a fake comedian, but this nigga, he the real deal, man. He the real deal.
I thought he was a fake comedian.
Yeah, I thought he was. Everybody say they're a comedian,
Right,
until they,
right.
but when
You
you get on
actually gotta
stage,
do it.
that's a
a
whole
whole different animal.
different ball game,
When them lights hit you,
But he a pro, man. Wait a minute, A-Trap, you left your studio, man?
Yeah, it was creating a lag.
Okay. Now, I was hoping you left that picture up because that almost looks like an exact replica, other than the brickwork, of one of Prince's studios. Even the soundboard and everything, except those big 4 TVs that are up on that graphic. His are actually speakers that big, So yeah, fantastic.
Oh, when you went to the what's the name?
Yeah, to Paisley Park. Yeah. Okay.
Fun fact right here.
Yeah.
Real quick, Robert Townsend directed Eddie Murphy Raw. Later the same year, Kenny and Ivory Wayans wrote the opening scene for Raw. And let's get into initial thoughts here. I mean, I think I've seen this, but I really don't remember a lot of it. I mean, I was 5 when this came out, but I had a lot of In Living Color vibes. I'm Gonna Get You Sucker vibes. Anything that the Wayans have done had like their footprint all over it. So it was like, don't be a menace to society while drinking your juice in the hood. Like all it was a lot.
Yeah.
I think this was kind of the precursor to a lot of things that were going to be happening.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I thought it was different, creative, and before we get in too far into this, Robert Townsend is so highly underrated. He just does not seem to get the respect that he deserves. And I wanted to kind of talk about that tonight too. But initial thoughts, A-Trap.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, that he is. I'm talking to Joe from Houston. What's up, Joe?
Just Joe.
Just Joe.
Yeah.
D Great.
He's just in Illinois now.
He's just Joe from Houston, aka.
Before I even get started, this movie actually, it's gonna sound kind of cheesy, but it changed my life in regards to movies. Me and Big Illinois was hanging strong about 6 years at this point, and I never saw this at the movies. I saw this at Big Illinois House. He owned it.
This was before his incarceration, I take it.
Oh yeah, he was. He was. This was his freshman year of high school.
Okay, all right.
He wasn't doing it yet. He was still a good guy, going to church and everything.
Still a good guy.
But first, I just want to shout out Big Illinois before I go any further. The reason I say this movie changed my life, Big Illinois has always been, in regards to sound and cinema, he's always been ahead of the curve. Big Illinois, this movie taught me, like, if anybody has ever liked any take I have on a movie, you can thank this movie and Big Illinois. Because, as a kid, I was 17 in 87. Big Illinois is 14. So Big Illinois showed me how to watch movies, man. He was like, yeah. Did you see this? Did you see this? And did you see the angle of the camera? And did you see the dialogue? And you see this and this? So this movie made me look at movies different because Big Illinois was ahead of the game. Big Illinois, this is the same year. Dalka remember it.
No.
This is the same year surround sound became popular. And before surround sound became popular, Big Illinois had hooked up surround sound in his house at age 13, 14 years old.
Wow. Love it.
Big Illinois was a sound genius at this point, man. And I ain't saying it because he's my man, but it was just, he showed me how to watch movies. Because then anytime a new movie came out, I would just, just lead him into the conversation and he'll break it all down to me. Then I go back to the crib and watch it. And I'm like, I ain't see all that. So shout out to Big Illinois, even though he had me watching that Evil Dead crap. I ain't never forgiving you for that, Jack.
But when you're in the joint, you got a lot of extra time to spend on those.
No. We were still kids. He had me watching the Evil
Dead. He was in the day room, man.
Yeah.
We were still in the Audi home at that point. You know what I'm saying? St. Charles, St. Charles Shuffle. But yeah, man. But besides that, big ups to Big Illinois, man. That's my man, Honey Graham. But this was a timeless movie. This joint was timeless. I didn't realize how close he came to Gordon Parks and what's my man who I don't like his son no more? Melvin Van Peebles. You know, I don't say that other dude's name no more. You know, ever since I found out, you know. But
I must be forgetting that one.
Yeah, it's inside joke. Inside joke. You don't say that other dude, New Jack City buddy. But not on the serious side, he took Gordon Parks and Melvin Van.
It don't take that long for Pootie Tang to be brought up.
Don't start this, man. Don't start that, D-Grade. Yeah. We used to be co-hosts together. But he took Melvin Van Peebles and Gordon Parks and pretty much made a black exploitation movie funny. Yeah. And that's what I got rewatching this. I was like, man, this cat made the black he took everything from black exploitation, made fun of it, and put a different light on it, and then flipped it. So, man, this was dope, man. And that's what made me think about Big Illinois, because before me and Big Illinois started watching movies together, it was just I was watching for I ain't gonna lie, I was watching for the breasts and explosions, you know, because I mean, me and Big Illinois almost got beat to sleep one day when he took apart the VCR, and as he took the top off, his mama walked in the house. We was like, so it just brought back a whole lot of great memories from childhood.
You say you used to watch TV for breast and what?
Breasts and explosions, man. You know, teenagers.
Because I mean, shit. Is there another reason why we watch TV? Because I still watch it with breast and explosions.
Well, I mean, that was
the explosion is probably the explosion is on my end. The breast is on their end.
I'm not gonna touch that one, Jack.
Good night. That's my time.
Peace and love. All right, Will.
Yeah, pretty much kind of like H-Rap was right on it. I mean, when I watched it, you know, I remember it growing up, but not just taking it in because I was so young. But then through the years, it was on TV here and there, but not realizing how it reminded me of like, what is it, like variety shows. It reminded me of like maybe this was our version of a Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah, there you version go. Hey, that's not a bad thought, man. That's, you know,
because
that's those the best movies thought you done had, man. That's the best thought you done had on the show, and probably about what you say, H-Rap, about 3 months or so.
There was a lot of this is trash.
I was just talking about this today. Say Wicks ain't really added nothing lately. So man, that's that way to come home.
Oh man, yeah. I mean,
you got out a lot last week. You got out last week, man.
I appreciate it. But yeah, it definitely reminded me of like Head of the Class.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The Mel Brooks, that slapstick, just kind of that Spaceballs, you know, Porky's Revenge kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how much of it was really saying, you know, I didn't realize this now, but then we hear it with our music, and we hear it with like when, you know, what is it? Boys in the Hood came out, and Menace to Society came out. You know, we're like, well, we're getting tired of playing these gangster roles. We're getting tired of playing these ghetto roles, these hood. You know, we gotta be thugs and hoodlums every time. So,
pimps.
You know, we don't want to be the slave and the butler. But yeah, it was. Oh man. Even some other movies took their cue from this. Like it reminded me of The Wash with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. Like some of that element was there. Not, you know, not great movies, but some of that element was there, like Friday and all that. So no, I enjoyed watching. There was a lot of underlining things in there that I didn't catch early on, but just rewatching it and seeing that. And I'm thinking like, man, is Robert Townsend, like, is he underrated? Because I mean, we know him for what, 5 Heartbeats and Parenthood, maybe Meteor Man, but yeah, he's busy.
If you and Ben were a little older, you'll remember these HBO specials he used to do, which was basically he broke down this movie. He broke this movie into sections and had the dude, the Bat dude, Betty.
Yeah.
He had him pen on a black version of Dynasty, and he was the barbecue rib king. It was hilarious, man. Look up Robert Townsend HBO special.
Is it like some kind of Robert Townsend Presents or something like that?
Yeah.
Robert Townsend and Friends or something. I saw something like that on.
It was a variety show / comedy special. Tommy Davidson, man, some of the funniest stuff ever. And he just.
I wanted to ask this, like, so what tree branch is this? Is this Richard Pryor? Is this Flip Wilson? Is this Red Fox? Is it all of them? Or I mean,
I would say it's Flip Wilson. Because Robert went into the like I said, the HBO specials are classic, man. Just you know what? Check HBO Max. If not, go to YouTube. Some of the funniest TV in the history of America. And so it was a variety show. It was like, put like this: you use Mel Brooks, and I'm gonna use you another classic. It was HBO's version of Black Carol Burnett Show.
I can see that. I can see definitely. I can see that.
And you know what? To be perfectly honest with you, Will, because rocking with Big Illinois, me and him became gigantic Robert Townsend fans. This might be his own. This might be Robert Townsend's seed. For Robert Townsend. Right. Robin and Keenan might have created a tree and branched out because at one point, Robert, Keenan, Eddie, and somebody else were calling themselves the Black Pack. And they were making movies together. And if you look at it, you know, just from your initial point saying Mel Brooks, and you notice how Harvey Korman, Vicki Lawrence, and all those people in the Mel Brooks joints. Right. Eddie grabbed Damon and put him in. I just heard this recently in a conversation. Eddie walked up, was late to a hangout session, and he had never met Damon. And Damon started acting gay. And that's what opened the door for Damon to get on Saturday Night Live. And it also put Damon in what is it, Beverly Hills Cop?
This
might be the Eddie. This might be the Eddie Keenan Robert tree that blossomed into Harlem Nights, that blossomed into Five Heartbeats, that blossomed into a couple other things. Because I had heard Eddie was supposed to be in the Five Heartbeats, but at that time Eddie had only done serious roles, and you're like, what is Eddie gonna be? But
And you think about like I said, In Living Color, you think about all the films that any of the Wayans have done. I think you're right. I think they have their own tree, basically. Let me give a shout out to Stacy Dion for tuning in. He was saying nice Mel Brooks comparison. That is a zinger. Meteor Man. I like Meteor Man. All right. It was and I think part of the reason why I think Robert Townsend kind of was underrated because it seems like some of his films could be quote unquote corny. I don't know. Maybe if some people felt that way during that time. Is that?
Not that I remember, man. Robert Townsend was the man. Pastor Dodd just texted me and said Robert would put that dress on. That's why we don't hear about it.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he became. Raider Kev, thank you for tuning in. All right, Doc.
To Wilk's point, he was like, talking about so much stuff he missed back then. I was thinking about this. I was thinking the same thing. And I had to realize, well, shit, we was teenagers, at the time. So a lot of stuff gonna do just like this, we remember the stuff like the hoes gotta eat too, shit. I didn't that line. Okay. I owe him royalties off that line alone. You know how many times I done said it? Hoes gotta eat too.
Right.
And so think about the movies that we've reviewed before now, and we talk about the cultural impact they had. And think about it now. We're more than 3 decades later, and we are still quoting lines from a movie back in 1987.
Right.
So I think that says all you need to say about it. In terms of Black relevance. And my apologies, actually, this movie, because it is a satire, and I haven't sat and watched Pootie Tang long at all, right? But my apologies to H-Rap to a certain extent on his love of Pootie Tang, because this is a satire at its finest. And if you go in there trying to rate it as a film, heavy hitter, you know, you're gonna be looking at it the wrong way, you know.
Right.
But from a satire standpoint, and even though it may be goofy humor, it's still a high humor and it's still a message, you know. And that's what on this one, there's a message, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And speaking of the tree, I was thinking exactly the same thing as A-Trap was, that this may be your seed, you know, the start of the tree, because of all the people that are in it. You know, the lady that played Wanda, I think her name is Helen Miller or something like that. Lady that played Wanda in there, and all these. I mean, you even got what's the cat name, man? Dom Herrera in here. You know, Dom Herrera that's an industry dude, you know, and he in there, a young Dom Herrera, you know. So again, you know, A-Trap makes a valid point. This may actually be the beginning of the tree, the roots.
Right.
Yeah. And Stacy said he was an extra in Cooley High. I think you pointed that out.
Is it the basketball game, or they were in the gym, weren't they? With the basketball, I thought.
He took that whack form shot, and Robert ran up and said, "Give me cold cheese."
Yeah.
Those of you tuning in the Facebook group, go to streamyard.com/Facebook just to give Facebook authorization so we can see who you are. I've got it up, but just for future reference, go ahead and do that for us. All right.
What he's trying to say is we tired of having to tell y'all this every week. Y'all know the deal.
We got some new people that I don't know. Okay. But everybody that's been here, you know. Okay. You know.
Now you the producer of this show, Ben, in addition to the producer of Queen 3 and King, which the next time I re-record our intros and outros, I gotta officially put you down as the producer of that show. Because when I say that joke will do more for Queen 3 and King in terms of graphics and video and whatever than I do here. But anyway, you the producer of this show. Should I read? Because again, this is a 1987 movie. A lot of people may not know the script, or whatever.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, all right. So this movie is based on an aspiring actor and hot dog stand employee, Bobby Taylor, which is played by Robert Townsend. Yeah. He catches the ire of his grandmother for auditioning for a role in the regrettably titled exploitation film Jivetime, Jimmy's Revenge.
The name alone.
Name title alone.
When Tinseltown Studios cast Taylor in this title role, he has a series of conflicted dreams, satirizing African-American stereotypes in Hollywood, and must reconcile his career goals with his desire to remain a positive role model for his little brother. So I think this is a fantastic script, you know, excellent design, excellent execution. And what's funny to me about it is even, you know, because remember, this is a satire and it's humor, you kiki and ha, and you miss some of the points. But one of them is that even within your own culture and race, they trying to undercut him. That guy saying, man, I wouldn't take this role, man. You know, I wouldn't take this role.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna play
I wouldn't do it, man. I wouldn't do
all this other stuff. But yet when he says, I'm out of the role, he goes, I'll take it. I'll play it. I'll do it. You know?
Real quick. He was trying to be the righteous brother.
I think little subtle messages like that are just as powerful as anything in this movie is, you know, that's being said, you know.
Do you think that's why maybe this movie was made? I mean, maybe Robert Townsend experienced some of that?
I think so. I think so, most definitely.
I mean, he made this movie on his credit cards.
And in fact, I started to. I put a note down. I ran out of time, but I was going to investigate his inspiration behind the movie. But I think even back then, I knew that it was based on his experience in Hollywood. You know, and again, that's why, and that's basically what they do in the Hollywood Shuffle. Bojangles, think about it that way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what they're doing. And he probably got tired of it, which is why he's bankrolling it. You know, like shit. If I do it through on their dime, I got to do the song and dance. Right. You know, but if I do it on my dime, I do it how I want to do it.
Yeah. And the grandmother was Helen Martin, right? That was her name.
Mm-hmm.
So 227
with the Wanda.
Yeah. She was.
Yes,
she was hilarious in this
Good Times, right? Well, she the one who used to eat the dog food.
No, that was somebody else. That was Gertie. Gertie, you see.
That was Gertie. Well, didn't Wanda bring the Jello or something at the?
Wanda gave her a real dirty look. Wanda gave her a mad dirty look. She didn't bring the dog food. Wanda was out there, man. She's Pearl on 227.
That's right. But what's another key aspect of this is that, think about it, man. Over 3 decades later, we are still having the same conversation about the types of roles that Black folks are given.
Yeah.
You know, still to this day.
Yeah. Yep.
Wanda needed the rent party.
The rent party.
Yeah. and it's so true. Even most recently, there was a clip, you know, after Chadwick Boseman passed away, talking about his first role was him being a single parent, living in a single parent home, or he was it was a stereotypical role similar to this movie. Yeah. Like he was supposed to be homeless. He was supposed to be robbing.
We need you to be more Black.
Right. Yeah, we need you to be. And that lady chewing the gum, like, I need you to tell him he needs to be more,
right.
Yeah.
It was like he's standing right there. You could have just said.
That's another piece that he's trying to say that happens. See, he's giving us a picture of what it looks like.
Right.
It's like, shit, I'm standing right here. You can't give me direction. You telling him to tell me what to say when I'm right here.
Right.
Yeah.
We did Claudine too.
I recently saw a Denzel Washington interview, and it was around this time, and he said he had a conversation with Sidney Poitier because he was offered a movie called The Nigga That Won't Die, and they lynched him and they did a lot of stuff, and he wouldn't die. And then he threw it right back at him like, yeah. It's kind of like if I was just moving Jews into the gas chamber, right?
Yeah.
He said he talked to Sidney that night, and he said, I ain't gonna tell you what to do. He said, but I will tell you, at the beginning of your career, whatever they put you in, that's what they're gonna keep putting you in.
Wow.
Right.
And
that's facts.
Wow. Been the man ever since.
We know a lot of guys that have been in similar roles their entire career. Clifton Powell, I ain't really seen Clifton Powell nothing else but Clifton Powell, man. You think of Pinky. When you think of Clifton Powell, most people think of Pinky.
Either that or F.A. Chauncey.
Somebody.
It's crazy. You can't say the word no more. But F.A. Chauncey, look it up.
And this cat, one of the most prolific and poignant lines in the movie is like, he's like, this was toward the end of the movie. He's like, I learned how to teach Black people to be Black people by watching Black people on TV. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how he learned.
Instead of actually talking to a Black person, instead of actually being a friend with a Black person.
Or how about this? How about this? How about actually being Black, motherfucker? Put that guy in the role.
Right. He said Clifton Powell is scary. The late AJ Johnson always, that's his facts right here. Always play the crackhead until Master P put him in. Well, he was stealing something, but I got the hookup. So
wasn't Clifton Powell a drug dealer on Rock?
Yeah, Andre.
Yeah, Andre, that's right. And Rock was threatening to put them hands on him.
Yeah.
Hey, as a matter of fact, the dude who in the movie when they were doing the theatrical school, he's typecast as a gangbanger. Mixed Black dude.
You know what?
He was in Colors. He was the perfect example.
With the kind of Jerry Curl looking.
He had the Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
My activator. Get my Curl activator. No, don't.
That was hilarious. There was a lot of moments in this film, man. The first one was.
But what's funny is how quick his hair changed. That quick.
I got flat in minutes. In minutes. But the first part was when there was like, there's a bat in the house. Full bat, full brother. I was like, what?
I was like, oh yes, with the white
Batty
bat.
Yeah.
That man said, don't say drugs unless you got some.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't say freebase unless you got some.
Unless you got some.
Why was he getting pushed around in a wheelchair? I don't understand that part.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably trying to drive.
He's such a big star.
Oh,
he was in a wheelchair though. It wasn't like he was in a.
Huh?
It wasn't like he was in it was in some type of.
Yeah, I think that was his taking it over the top. To say like he's such a. He thinks of himself as such a big star off this bullshit ass road. You know, he got drivers and entourage, and they even push him around in a wheelchair. I think that's you so big you don't even have to walk. Use your own feet. You know.
Right.
No, Clifton Dow in the back room, dog.
Okay, got you. Okay.
F.A. Johnson.
Okay. I had no idea, man.
Remember, in minutes.
Yeah, but you're saying that's the deal in real life?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Remember,
okay. That's what I thought
you was calling. Remember, he was like, hey, man, we just said,
okay, got you.
He said, who there? He's like, Kane, me.
Hey, go on and say it so we can blow up.
No. I'm like Scarface on the Ghetto Boys time. On the
we need to start charging. This is what we need to do. We need to start charging people if they want to get access to our private chats. You know, for $5.99 a month. And you can't do no free trial on our ass either. We wise.
Raw and uncut.
You want that money up front. Up front. He said Powell is unique how he does low budget movies. He is most of the time.
Yeah, I think he's been in a few horror movies, like straight to DVD or something like that.
Straight to DVD.
He did straight to DVD.
The dude talking about the Freebase is a hilarious comedian named Franklin on the Job. I didn't know.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, Franklin the Job.
Franklin the Job insanely
in Car Wash. He played in
Car Wash. Mm-hmm. He played in a recent movie with Penny Rippleton daughter.
He was the one with the big afro.
Was that the one?
The one that was trying to date that fine chick?
I
want to get next to you.
That's
why that song is. Yeah, that's right. Suits the Fly.
See, Keisha, you like this movie more than you know.
Right.
The most comments in the chat between you and Stacey.
What's his name?
All right. So Keenan Ivory Wayans co-wrote it.
The Fly or something.
Keenan Ivory Wayans co-wrote it.
That's what we should do. Car Wash. We need to do that.
We got to do that one too.
Soundtrack.
We gotta do that, man. I watched that sucker every time it would come out.
Rolls Royce on the soundtrack.
Yeah, I agree with you, Stacey. His IMDb, I'm sure, is probably 10 pages, and it's like pimp, hustler,
right,
drug dealer, guy with a gun.
Yeah.
He played Morris Chestnut dad in one of the movies. He was dating Gabrielle Union. Played his rich daddy.
I like the actors.
Talking about Let's, dude. What you do? Let's. You know what Let's is short for? Let us. No, let us here.
on this end. On this end, not on that end. R.I.P. John Witherspoon.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, met that dude, man. I met him in Indianapolis, man, at the Crackers Comedy Club. Went to go see him in the Crackers. That's the name of the comedy club. They got two. They got one in Broad Ripple and one downtown Indianapolis. And it's called Crackers, you know, and that's generally a lot of the comedians when they first get on stage, especially the black ones. They're like, I can't believe I'm doing no damn stand-up at Crackers Comedy Club, you know.
Right.
But it's been, I just saw Bill Bellamy there, a lot of big names. And so I met John Witherspoon after the show. And as I'm shaking his hand and, you know, as we taking a picture, we're not looking at each other, but he's talking to me. And he's talking to me about you taking care of your family, man. You're working every day. You're taking care of your business. He was talking that kind of stuff in my ear as we're smiling for the camera, you know.
Right.
So good dude, man. You know, good dude.
And any role he's in, man, he acts the hell out of that role. Every role he's in.
And I swear he says wine the same way in everything. He a little wine.
Right.
I'm surprised he didn't say bang, bang, bang.
He know what his fans want. So the first 15 minutes of his show, he did all of his iconic lines in his roles.
Yeah.
You know, that's what he did. And he goes, I know what y'all want, you know. And so he do the don't come in the restroom 30, 45 minutes. He do the you eat up all the hog mouths. He do the bang, bang, bang. He did all of them, you know.
Yeah.
And then just real quick, we just talking about him, the full circle with him and the Wayans brothers on being the dad on Wayans brothers. I mean, full circle, you know, it's like working with the brothers on Hollywood Circle.
And I'm sure they kept going to him, man, because of that, because of the type of thing. Think about it. I'm a complete stranger, and he's in my ear talking to me about You know, I know we out having a good time and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but this ain't what's important, man. Make sure
Right.
you be taking care of your family. Make sure you know, all that kind of stuff, right? So
Mhm.
think about what he was giving them. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah,
Some dudes are
absolutely.
just like
Yeah.
that, man, where they just pour into people like that. So they were
Yeah.
probably drawn to him. So anytime they needed a role like that, whether it be Eddie Murphy and Boomerang or
Right.
whatever, they gonna
Yep.
go back to, you know, the dude that's, you know,
Right.
giving.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know that Eddie just threw him into that role. That was that scene was not in the movie.
Yeah.
Eddie flew him into New York and said, "Spoon, do your thing." And
Yeah.
Wow.
the Paramount was like, "No, we don't want him in the movie." And Eddie was like, "He in the movie."
Yeah.
And he said, "Do your
You
thing."
know who I am? Yeah.
And that was it. That was they didn't write anything. They just told Spoon, "Do your thing."
Yeah.
So
And
Spoon
he
Love
did.
it.
He
Love
did.
it. Love it. I
Let
mean,
me-
you know, they should do more of that, man. Imagine if they set somebody like Wilkes' ass down at a dinner table, or set somebody like me down at a dinner table, or some shit, and you just thought, just let a nigga go, you
Yeah,
know, or
let him
whatever,
roll.
based on, you know, the other people got lines, and all you do, I just need y'all to respond naturally to what
Right.
how you will respond in these
Right.
situations, and that's probably how you're gonna get gold, because it's natural, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Kirby Enthusiasm.
Probably, huh?
Kirby Enthusiasm. That's that show.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Probably how what's the show with Eddie Murphy? Hercules. You know,
Clump.
Nutty Professor, right?
Nutty
Nutty
Professor.
Professor.
In the
You know,
club.
where he played all those roles. But to think about how on point that was on those characters and people that we all got in our family. You know, we got that old nasty ain't it? That's always talking about. Oh, he made me Morris, the whatever.
Right.
You know, you got
Right.
those
Right.
people,
Right.
you know.
Oh yeah.
You got the
absolutely.
uncle. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
and I think that's
Kids.
what. And
LeVar
that's-
Ball.
And I'm pretty sure that's
Right.
wow, really. And I'm pretty sure that I mean, like you said, especially if you've been to family reunions or just a little get together, a birthday party, you don't have a few. You're like, well, that's just Annie, or that's just
right.
Uncle,
We got him.
you know.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm the uncle in some of these situations now. You know?
Hey, that's how it is, man.
You know, I know my nieces and nephews saying that's just my uncle. Shit, they gonna say some crazy shit. You
You
know?
just say something crazy. Hey, and Stacy, if they ever come out with Friday 4, definitely. Clifton Powell got to be in it. Definitely.
Whenever they release that script.
Yeah, no.
That script
They all getting up there, so they need to.
They're gonna be
work
dead
it out.
next week.
Well, they showed before he died.
Dead presidents, just Joe. Yeah,
They had a
We
few
gotta do
scenes,
that one.
but that was it.
Pinky was in House Party.
House party. He was in.
Did you
at the house party and Friday 3?
What up, nigga? I don't remember.
I don't remember him in House Party. I remember him in Friday.
Yeah, it was at the
Friday.
Christmas party at the end of the joint, and this is when Cat Williams is getting harassed by Big Homeboy. Pinky came to the party. He had 2 women with him. He had 2 breezies with him.
Oh man, I have to look at that again.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think you're talking about probably Witherspoon. Yeah, even older in life, Witherspoon still looked the same.
Yeah,
he was a brother to answer the door for Gina.
Really?
He was on the phone. Yeah,
I look at the clip.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again. All right, so the black acting school, that part was hilarious, man. That was
gosh, man, classic.
And why was that pan so dirty? Man, it looked like he got that out the dumpster.
He closed on Sunday.
Man, the genius to be able to do all these different roles, and just the way he did it, I felt like was genius, because there was the message was there. It was clearly there, but it was funny at the same time, and it wasn't corny funny. It was real funny. So.
One of the most, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most powerful things you can say about this movie to give Robert Townsend kudos and et cetera is the fact that this was $100,000 budget, and it did $5.2 million at the box office.
Yeah, that tell you right there.
Shit.
And not to mention everybody who probably purchased it.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. Yeah. This one no streaming. You have
and
to go buy it.
Samuel Goldwyn Films, they not no small company, you know. So,
No,
when I saw Samuel Goldwyn was connected to this, I was like, oh, okay, that's what's up, you know. But you know, so of course, like I said, Robert Townsend, Keenan Ivory Wayans, and what I didn't know is that Don Herrera actually was a writer on this movie as well. You know, he wasn't just in it. He wasn't just in it. He wrote it, you know, as well. And of course, Robert Townsend got director credits, you know. But yeah, Keenan and Robert Townsend and Don Herrera got writing credits. So you know, they still getting that mailbox money out there.
And I like the nod to Michael Jackson Thriller in this because Anne Marie was dressed just like the girl in the Thriller video. I like that little touch, those little certain nods throughout the movie to certain things. So that's why I said when I watched this, it's like, man, I'm gonna get you, sucker. Just had that vibe, that Mel Brooks, that delivery, that crazy, just smash up, like it's slapstick, but yet, like he said, then at that time it's over your head. But then you go back and you watch it, it's like, man, this is deep.
I ain't begotten no weapon.
You have to say you ain't begotten no weapon. Oh, okay. Sorry.
What you just said, what he just pointed out with Dom being a co-writer, it is Mel Brooks. It's just this is Mel Brooks, just the other direction.
Right.
People don't realize Richard Pryor, one of Mel Brooks is probably the most successful movie, Blazing Saddles. Richard Pryor helped write that.
That's right.
You got all the white guys, and then the one black dude in the background writing.
Right.
So then you got all the black guys and then the one white dude in the background. So you're right. Every time you say something, it draws you closer to the Mel Brooks portion of the movie.
And you just think about some of these films that we've seen where it's mostly black characters. And then it's like the whitest of white person is the director, and that's what that's what this made me think of. It's like, well, act more hood, you know what I mean, right? You know, act more like this, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I saw Denzel in an interview. Speaking of A-Trap, mentioned him earlier, and it was about selecting a director for a particular movie. I can't remember what the project was, but he goes, think about it. He goes, do you think, you know, and he named some director's name, some black director. Do you think he could direct The Godfather? You know, and he's like, from a cultural standpoint, it would be difficult. They don't know some of the nuances of that. We don't know some of the nuances of the Italian culture. And it's like whoever was interviewing him, you could see a light switch go off to say, this is why you need to direct a black director in this black film, you know, because they understand the nuances. A white director just isn't going to be able to do that because they hadn't been in our culture to be able to see it. It's not that we just trying to be extra pro-black. It just makes sense, you know. And I'm like, wow.
But I think the other part too is coming to America and
easy, cowboy. Easy, cowboy. Hold your hands up, motherfucker. Hold your like this shit.
Hey.
Excuse me. Anything that Eddie was in, he had an intricate part in it. Because a lot of those coming to America and trading places, that was, I forgot what that guy's name was.
John Landis.
Yeah, John Landis. John Landis was a white guy. But you could tell Eddie had his imprint on the movie though, too.
Yeah.
So I think it's, you know, kind of depends.
Hey, does that go back to the kind of like what we're dealing with now with Tyler Perry making his own studio? Is this because maybe we didn't have enough black directors with money or the draw like Eddie, but we knew the white people at that time, maybe they had the...
Yeah, I think it's more about opportunities. We didn't have the numbers because the opportunities wasn't given. I mean, what was it? Regina King, we were just talking about her and how great a job she did at directing, man.
Yeah.
See, directing is only about seeing how a scene should go and whether it makes sense or not, you know, and then adding some creativity to it, you know. In fact, we and John, I mentioned him earlier today, the comedian John Lewis, we were talking after the show, and I said, you know, one of the funniest jokes that he had, I'm like, send it over the top by saying XYZ, and he like, God, dog, I ain't never thought of it that way. That's what a director does, you know. Director looks and they add value to what the writer has done. Which is why the writer knows if I go pick a good director, all they're doing is picking somebody who's got good vision. who can look at something. I can take A-Trap and put him as a director.
And there is a such thing as visionary director.
And you'll always, and what'll happen is you'll start to get a pattern of A-Trap's films, whatever. He's like, that's an A-Trap kind of thing, or he's got a signature, where in every one of my movies I direct, I'm gonna always have somebody do this or somebody do that.
It's just like with Guy, like when you're watching a Guy Ritchie movie. I mean, he just
Spike Lee with the ground movie.
Yeah, Tim Burton is doing and I know this got to be right up your alley, Wilkes. Wednesday on Netflix.
Yeah, I already watched it. It's pretty
Tim Burton. And you can see it, man, right? You want to talk about Beetlejuice vibes in this movie, right? This series, right? So
even when he put his touch on Batman Returns with Michael.
That's right. That's right.
It is Tim Burton all the way.
John Woo's got a style, that everybody can recognize, that kind of deal. And it's like certain people, in fact, Hollywood gets into a problem where they say, if we got this type of a movie, there are only those 2 or 3 directors that we're going to get it. So they limit the opportunity of young directors, not just young Black directors, but young directors as a whole, or females. Sometimes like Regina King, as far as I'm concerned, if I owned the movie studio and I saw what she did, not only am I going to get her to redirect some more shit, but I'm going to try to get people like her, the young Regina King, and say, hey, can you ever want a shot at directing something? Because these folks are ultra talented, man.
Yeah. And then we also have to factor in discrimination.
Stacey Porter, you gotta get Stacey Porter's comments out here, man.
When I recently heard Kadeem Harrison and they were talking about how Debbie Allen went out of her way to make sure they would direct episodes, so people wouldn't say. Well, they wouldn't say, well, you've never done that, therefore I can't let you do it. Another dude, I can't think of his name, Orlando Jones. Orlando Jones was another dude.
Drumline. We could hit him with that Flight of the Bumblebee.
Right. And they talk about it, and then it's kind of like how Shirley Chisholm gets forgotten when we talk about Kamala Harris. Shirley Chisholm was the first person, and Tim Reed is the Shirley Chisholm of movies. Tim Reed did exactly what Tyler Perry did 30 years ago, but due to discrimination and people just boxing you out, he wasn't able to advance the culture like he wanted to.
The Venus Flytrap, Tim Reed.
Yep.
So, WKRP in Cincinnati. You
really? In Virginia. He still has his studio up and running in Virginia. He did the exact same thing, bought a Confederate military base. He converted it into a studio. Tyler just had more money to do it, and now he's world famous for it. But like I said, Tim Reed is the Shirley Chisholm of this, because Tim did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But due to discrimination and the good old boy network, where you get throughout the entire entertainment industry, Tim was boxed out because Tim was Black.
Yeah,
he was blackly Black.
And one of the things that I learned, this was when I was working at Geico. One of the things that I learned was, going through some management training and stuff like that, is that what these studios and producers with that can bankroll films and stuff like that, they are actually hurting their bottom line by not being more diverse in their selections. Right? I'll give you an example. This is a Coca-Cola story. Coca-Cola had this ad campaign, and they were going to go into some of the Asian countries, right, on that continent. And they're like, we're going to start advertising, or we want to increase our footprint over there in terms of sales, right? And so they're like, let's do what we do in this country. Let's get on this highway, and we're going to put a series of billboards. And we're going to have a billboard to where this guy has a frown on his face. You can see he's upset. The next billboard, he's going to be drinking a Coke. And then the next billboard, he's going to have a smile on his face. Well, what they didn't realize is that the way the highways ran, they were going to see it the opposite way. He was going to see a guy with a smile on his face. He drink a Coke, and now he's pissed, because they didn't tap into Coke with this country, with as big company as they are, they had some Asian personnel there that could have told them that shit ain't gonna work.
That ain't gonna work.
Don't do that, right?
Yeah.
In fact, Gerber made a similar snafu. They wanted to go to the African continent and start. We need to increase our footprint. They got babies in that continent. We need to start selling some of our baby food. Well, in certain areas of Africa, the illiteracy rate is so high to where they don't put the names of stuff on the product. They just put a picture of the product on there so you can know what's inside.
Yeah.
Well, what is Gerber's logo?
It's the baby.
That little white baby.
White baby,
yeah.
So what did they think was in them cans? Little white babies.
White babies in the
so
can.
They had high sales, but it wasn't for the reason they thought.
We're not gonna eat the white babies.
So, but they had somebody from that continent that could have told them, we need to put a picture of a pear or put a picture of a such and such. We can't put our logo on this,
Right.
So again, if you don't tap into the diversity that you got at your fingertips, you are hurting your bottom line.
Right.
Period.
Marketing is key, and we don't, or marketers sometimes don't talk to the actual people that they're marketing at.
Yeah.
So things fall.
That's
falls through the crack.
That's
How
what
many
I
ads have we seen? We was like, if they would have asked, like the thing they had a black kid with a hoodie on that said monkey on it or something.
Right. Yeah.
Like if you just said that out loud to somebody that was black, they would have told you.
Was that Gucci or Louis
No,
Vuitton?
that was like H&M.
H&M. But Gucci had a snafu with something else.
There was like 3 in a row. The 3 big corporations in a row had
major
snafus. It's like, what are y'all thinking?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's what kills me about when people develop software or certain products. They're like, well, we had the user in mind. Did you talk to the user in mind?
Well,
who did you
had us
speak
in
with?
mind?
Right. Because you're not talking to the end.
Maybe had them in mind, but not the right part.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I wanted to point out a couple of those movies that they were reviewing.
Yeah.
That kind of made me think of Us.
Yeah.
And also that made me think of In Living Color. The Men on Film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it was different.
Yeah, I made myself a note. I said they gave us a lesson on how to review films, didn't they?
Right.
Right. So I thought just for that alone, I thought this movie selection was good because they had that aspect in here.
Right.
Like this is the perfect
and
movie.
Of course, when I watched it, I thought about Dog because he talks about this ain't just Siskel and Ebert.
Right.
They damn sure with Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, them chuckles getting ready to fight. Hell, other thing.
They were sneaking in the movie.
Cool. They were let's do this first, then we'll fight.
Yeah, we'll come back
after that movie. They was high fiving each other.
Yeah, they're like, I don't like this shit, man.
Right. They were sneaking in the movie and doing the review in the movie that they stuck into.
Hey, but ahead of their time, man. Ahead of their time.
Right.
Crazy.
But Chicago Jones, Dirty Larry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Attack of the Street Pimps.
Yeah, they love that movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was good.
When that one ended, they were just like this. And they looked at each other like, man, we just saw the greatest shit ever created on film. I loved it.
That was hilarious right there.
That was hilarious.
Where's mine?
And his hand was all like,
it was all cricket behind his head. Like, what are you doing?
You didn't notice the other guy doing this and shit.
It was like zombies, but pimps.
It was hilarious.
But also a nod to Thriller at the same time. Yeah. Crazy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
And then when they were like, we want you to act like Eddie. And then when he did the Eddie Murphy laugh, I died laughing.
My point is, you see how all of them look like a version of Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. So I had to ask, and like I said, once again, being that young in the 80s, what I take it were Eddie wannabes or lookalikes? Was that a thing? Were people after we just want you to be the next Eddie?
That's what the theaters. So think about it. When somebody is successful, they try to create another one of them. They're short-sighted to know, I don't need another one of you. I just need to give other people opportunity so you can be good at what you're good at, But they try to recreate the wheel,
Right.
Which is why you got all these remakes of movies. You don't got no new shit out there.
Everything don't need a remake.
Just redoing this and redoing that and redoing that, because they're trying to go back to the well of what works,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I just think if Sylvester Stallone would have been Axel Foley,
Oh,
that was the original plan.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Really?
you said, yeah, you mentioned that.
Nah.
I wouldn't have went back. I mean,
Nah.
I can't even. That don't even make sense, do it? You
Nah,
know,
that's like
That's
Rocky.
probably, and that's probably why
Hey,
they
yo.
and that's probably why they push movies with him like Cobra and what was the other one where he was a cop with somebody? They probably tried to give him his own lane, but
Copland.
well, yeah, I forgot about Copland.
Yeah.
And there was one more he did where it's not. I can't think of what it was.
don't nobody play the fringe cop like Eddie Murphy, man. The
Right.
48 hours
From Detroit and
Yeah.
LA, a totally a culture shock. Like, come on, man. From
Yeah,
Detroit
they-
to LA, man.
And then when they did the Brambo,
Yeah.
that was
Everybody
that was
want to play the
perfect.
Rambo, but they wanted to keep playing the Sambos.
that's another throwback we need to do. It's like the original 48 hours with Eddie Murphy and
man.
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte is underrated.
Yes, man.
Man.
Yeah, man. He get kicked in the teeth a little bit because of his personal.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
guy
like
that-
the Mel Gibson.
the
Mel
drug
Gibson was the
addiction
same way.
guy,
It's kind of like,
I get Nick Nolte and there's another guy mixed up.
I know. God, I know who you're talking about.
Gary
He got-
Busey.
Gary Busey.
That's
oh
right.
gosh.
Are both of them on crack or what is one? I don't really know.
Well,
Let me just say this. You won't have to Google too long to find mug shots of either one of them.
Gary
That's just
Either
right.
one of them, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Gary Busey probably got 3 mug shots to
Oh,
Nick
man.
Nolte's one, but you ain't gonna have to go too long.
Yeah. Hey, Rocky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, yeah, and I think she's right because if you try to watch him in anything else, it's just, I mean, it's just
Very,
it
very
doesn't
true.
fit.
You waiting for him to say, "Hey, yo."
Yeah,
That's what you
I
waiting
mean,
for him
he's
to
in
say.
some series right now called The Tulsa King on
Yeah,
Amazon.
but he's playing like a gangster Rambo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what it's like. I can't.
Gangster
You know what?
Rambo.
We never talk about white dudes being typecast, but Busey, Nolte, Stallone, they the same dude in every movie.
True.
And
Yeah, always gritty. Just like my boy, before he retired, Gene Hackman. He was always that
Yeah,
rough,
yeah.
gritty.
Yep.
But Gene Hackman, man, one of the
Gene
greatest to
Hackman,
ever
with it,
do
though.
it.
Gene
man.
Hackman, oh,
One of
man.
the greatest to ever do it. Man.
No nonsense right there. man.
Love that dude.
No nonsense, man.
Yeah, but they basically had 10 to 15 people that all look like Eddie with that
Yeah.
members only
He
jacket,
needs you
and
to
the
be
wife
more
beater, and the
Murphonic.
chain.
Right.
Yeah, be more Murphy. Be more.
Yeah.
So the guy that was the writer, I didn't recognize him, but it sounded like you guys know he was in other stuff. He
Don
was,
Marrero. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was big back then. You know, even matter of fact, now he's had a great stand-up career for a while, but he's a comedic actor and he just, does a lot. That's how a lot of these cats that you end up seeing on TV now, back then they started behind the scenes as writers, and then they get their shot, out in front of the camera, and you forget that they even used to be writers, but that's how they get their start, man.
Right.
Like Jay Leno, he was on Good Times. Most people don't know.
Mhm.
Oh, he did have. That's right. I did see it one time. He was on Good Times.
But he
I
used
don't
to be
like.
one of Jimmy Rocco's writers.
Yeah.
Wow, did not know that. You had that same chin during that time too.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
he is still my big chin friend.
I mean, he had to be something big for Johnny Carson to have him host a few times and then ultimately take over. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt like Jay Leno didn't have another job after that because it was just like, all right, we're gonna put you in the Tonight Show. That's it.
What this gotta do?
Wow.
He did though.
What?
He was at the clinic when JJ thought he had VD.
Yeah.
He was at the clinic.
Wow.
Good times.
Yeah, BD in Good Times, you said?
Yeah.
JJ thought he got smoked. And Jay Leno was in there.
I think I remember that episode.
Sorry about that.
I couldn't remember where it was because I thought it was like a DMV or something like that. It was a
He
clinic.
did think he had VD.
Yeah, he was at the clinic.
Well, I was about to say, shit, who didn't? The 80s were wild, man. There was a different time.
I never had VD.
Spread them around, man. Spread them around.
Yeah, the 80s were a wild time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of shit going on.
I've heard some
Yeah, it
things.
was.
Yeah, I've heard some things.
I've seen some things.
I wasn't there.
Hell, back in Dallas, they used to have a place called the Hot Tub Club.
I don't remember that one.
Because a lot of people didn't have hot tubs at their house. So you could go rent a room that had a hot tub in it.
So it was like a Roman bathhouse with a hot tub.
Something like that. Yeah. So you could have a little party. It was BYOB, you know, you get the hot tub room.
Yeah.
Well, then Linfields came along and they had the 5 for 10, and then you had your own. Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow. Off 45 over there?
Yeah, right on the back. 45 right there, man. Oh. It's called 310 now.
Hell no, man.
Nigga. Be quiet.
75.
Hey, if you see the big King truck parked out front, keep riding.
Keep rolling.
Keep riding.
75. Run them down. Man.
All right, y'all. We can take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk about Hollywood Shuffle.
We got time
to round out the show. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
potty break.
Quick pee along.
Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Man Talk Monday. Woo!
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central.
All right, welcome
mad
back.
at the preacher for putting on chapstick in the pulpit, man.
On that chapstick.
Yeah. Gotta make sure his lips is right.
Hey, speaking of, matter of fact, I think it was either Big Illinois or I wasn't Big Illinois. Who said something to me about putting on chapstick on the show? One of your boys, Vernon. It was Chief Rock.
Chief Rock.
Yeah, that's what
Chief Rock can say something about
so
it.
in memorandum of Chief Rocker, there you go.
Sorry, Keisha. Sorry.
Yeah, Keisha done been in them 2 for 10s. She knows.
We appreciate the love there. Somebody said nice commercial. That's probably
appreciate you.
Theodora, possibly. I hollered when John said that just now. Yeah, hey, John like that all the time, man.
Yeah,
him and Duck like that all the time.
Yeah.
Especially it just comes natural.
You don't talk about admission of filming something. We should have been having somebody rolling when we was here for H-Rap birthday, standing around the kitchen island over there.
I know.
Think about the gold that was spit right there, man, and that evening. Yeah. Man. We should have had
June. In that little June, did we have a Juneteenth little get to go? No,
yeah,
no,
it was a
meet and greet.
It was Labor Day. The Sunday at Labor Day, where me and you came early to help.
Oh, okay, yes.
Oh, we know. We know.
What in the hell?
We know.
Oh wow.
He about rounding out right now. Heading out the parking lot right now.
No. Well, yeah, they may be cutting out right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, that scene, there he is. If you speak of him, he will come.
Chief Rock.
Oh man.
We still better than the Giants, though, so I don't care.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't care.
He shouldn't even bought up football here.
Nah, don't do that to yourself. You got Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber as your quarterback. If somebody don't cut his hair, man,
We really can't say how dumb quarterbacks looking with the way Dak be looking after he throw a damn interception there.
I know you're right about that. But somebody on that team can give him a lineup real quick.
But all the New York Giants, the GMs must say we got to draft a quarterback with dumb face because all their quarterbacks,
all of them,
dumb face. He took right off Eli Manning, dumb face.
Eli, boy,
Daniel Jones, dumb face.
He'd be staring into the
Just go to one of the players and ask for the John B. It gets you right. All right, that scene with his dad in the barbershop. How many cliches? Anything you can do it.
Right.
Striving hard. I was like, I know that was supposed to be a serious scene, but I was like, it's too many cliches. Even
no, that was supposed to be funny. That was supposed to be.
I think it was on purpose. I
thought they were trying to have a serious moment.
I was laughing because he still rushed his ass out that barbershop. We about to close, and he kept turning lights and shit out. You can't got all day to be talking.
We ain't staying there all night.
That's how them pappies used to do it, man. Hey, man, I gotta go home to Deborah.
Yeah, I gotta go, man.
You said he gotta go home to the devil?
No, I said you gotta go home to Deborah.
Deborah, okay.
It's my night to cook.
Yeah.
My night to cook.
They stopped by Sheila's.
Yeah. 4 out of 5 Super Bowls ain't bad. All right. The quarterback still look dumb. All right. Cookie Head and
Cookie Head Jenkins, man.
Cookie Head Jenkins.
Say the whole name, man.
What was the other guy? It was Jerry Curl, right?
And Jerry Curl.
Jerry Curl.
Curl. Do the Jerry Curl. Pass that move to Jerry.
Right. Yeah. But the funny part when he was like, he said, I hope Cookie Head had clean underwear on. I couldn't tell him, but he didn't. Remember that part?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was had that dream about being a PI.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And then he said he think that's his daddy. I couldn't tell him.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, his daddy.
Yeah,
that was good.
So the big guy in the picture behind you being tiny, is that the same dude that played in the movie where he said, "Man, go give me some of that Dick Gregory"?
Dick Gregory, yeah.
That's
him. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's what I thought. I bet it was. Yeah,
that's House Party, buddy.
Yeah.
Lou
B. Washington. Lou B. Washington is his name. Yeah.
And he had that maroon jumpsuit on too. Didn't he?
And later on, when John Witherspoon went broke and went crazy, him and that Keenan Ivory took over the business. He was eating the hot dogs off the hats.
Yeah. He broke in pieces.
And he's like, we partners,
using his shoe as a phone.
Yeah. I was like, he done.
He lost his shirt with the whole cakes.
With the whole cakes.
Right.
Hoes
but that whole thing was funny. Cookie Head Jenkins and Jerry Curl.
Matter of fact, I don't know, Wilkes, you might have heard of this. Being too straight and narrow to heard of this, but wasn't it a restaurant called Whole Burgers out this way?
I thought no, it was either Waxahachie or Red Oak.
Yeah, Whole Burgers, right?
It was this girl that had started it.
Yeah, female.
And
Whole Burgers.
Yeah. Because
I wonder if it was off of this, inspired by.
It very well could.
I didn't think about it at the time, but now watching this.
But she eventually, like a year later,
for a while.
Yeah, for a year, it started out, and people were like, "What's the name of this place?" And then, like a year later, she had like a sign, and she had a real, like it had the menu posted, and had like a little storefront.
Yeah, there's a place called Fat Whole Burger.
Yeah.
In
the Dallas, like on Waxahachie in it somewhere in there.
Well, still Waco.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
We knew it somewhere south of 35.
But it looked like it's still it's got a food truck.
Like it may be hers because she started it.
Yeah,
Hoes gotta help you eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was serious. She was like, it's hard out here and people get hungry. And because it was called Whole Burgers. And then obviously, I guess it's still in business. So
It's like that lady who made herself a millionaire in the A. Slutty vegan.
Slutty vegan, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Big time
And
people.
then people like Gwyneth Paltrow selling their farts in a jar.
And coochie candles.
Right. Really.
Erykah Badu got a coochie candle.
And cum lotion.
Erykah Badu? Shit.
Oh, man.
Let me give me some of that apple tree. How you
you
order that off Trade Naturals too? Shit, I need to know.
And a matter of fact, why it was Whole Burger, it was like, man, that whole good. That's where it came from.
Right.
That's where it came from.
But hey, this may be it. Fat Whole Burgers. It's
been around for a minute then.
Yeah.
It's got a
Big
food
drillers.
truck. Paul Mooney, rest in peace. Paul Mooney had that was funny.
Oh man, that was
the Hollywood chapter, the NAACP.
Yeah.
And y'all remember the roast where Richard Pryor said about Paul Mooney?
Miss Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably Miss Thing.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, Richard Pryor told on himself in that roast.
Yeah, sure did.
He said, man, Paul was there when I hit my first pump.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Rich, don't say that no more.
Yeah, I said that more loud. Yeah. She said, I cannot.
Oh,
I'm still here. She said, I'm still here.
It said it is over here, baby.
Hey, maybe get with Erykah Badu because she can probably come up with you get some of that. Mix her coochie counter with your beard oil. And shit, I'm making have some new growth.
That's a potion right there.
Until
he molested his son.
Oh, she means booty pals.
Butt buddies.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I mean, it's been said, but I don't know. And then they said something about Paul was dating
allegedly
molested his son.
Molested his son.
Yeah.
Paul molested Richard Pryor's son?
Yeah.
Richard's bodyguard tells the story how Richard offered to give him $1 million to kill Paul.
Wow.
Yeah. I want to say it's on a YouTube interview.
Man, you can find a lot of stuff on YouTube. Real. A lot of old interviews that you think don't exist, they on YouTube.
It's just one thing I never said out loud.
They're not too far back. This is a little bit after Paul Mooney died. They ain't too far back.
Yeah. This was last year.
Yeah, they ain't too far back.
You ain't got to be.
Talk to Richard Pryor's sons.
Go to Comedy Hype.
Yeah, they not too far back.
2021. It was the rage.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And of course they killed it real quick, but
yeah, they shut it down. So, Little Richard was on the same ship that I was on in the Navy. He has stories.
Oh, Chief Rock, I knew it was something about you. You spent time in the barrel, huh? Yeah. You spent time in the barrel, didn't you, Chief? Chief, they say you used to volunteer to go in the barrel, but it wasn't even your time.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
I love it.
Oh boy.
Who on barrel duty tonight, Chief Rock? I do it.
Don't do it.
Tell him, Chief, you a shuffle, but you won't deal.
He can't type fast enough. With his next comment.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Wow.
That's below the belt. I wouldn't go that far, Chief.
Well, that's shots fired right there, Keith. All right, so obviously we know the Wayans as a family, but when Keenan was doing that the Jerry Curl role, I seen you can see Marlon all over it.
Yeah, man.
He had a story about you.
I'm sure he did. I got a story about me. Yeah, H-Rap got a story about me. Ain't no secrets here.
Everybody got a story.
I don't know nothing.
When they say hoes gotta eat too, they wasn't just talking about female hoes. Said hoes gotta eat too.
It wasn't being gender specific.
I pray at night. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anytime you walk into a spot I walked into and the DJ and the bartender start hollering your name, man, that is
Right.
they know you.
Yeah. When they know you, they know you.
They're like, hey, you want us to play some of that Michael Jackson for you? Yeah.
Hey, the usual.
Like, hey, I got the usual today.
Yeah, I got the usual, King.
Right.
Yeah. When they start saying, hey, I got your usual, Chief. The boss.
You doing the pineapple back tonight? Hey, shit, you know it, man.
When they, matter of fact, when they don't even say that, they just drop the drink off in front of you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just waiting to see Sean or Marlon, but they might have been too young.
Little about it.
Marlon was 16. Sean might have been 17.
Because they were, were they ever on In Living Color? Not that I remember. They, I mean, like a camp.
Well, Sean was. I don't know about Marlon.
Marlon was at the end, and Sean was DJ, whatever that whack
That's
DJ.
right. Yeah, he was DJ. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And then Joker didn't have no records. He was just doing this, and the record
just going like this.
Just make it look good. Yeah.
Just make it look good. We can't put that in the budget. But we can pay you to be the fake DJ, though.
You grew up in that house, you're gonna get a check.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now Kim Wayans was in this. I didn't see.
She was in the salon chair when he was outside the window.
It's funny
seeing
some of these people real skinny. Yeah, real skinny. You know.
And she was one of the prostitutes when they were running.
No, you didn't hear that from me.
Oh man.
You didn't hear that from me.
The moral of the story, though, which is the part I wanted to get to, how many actors would have just took this role as an opportunity? Because they was all saying this work. It was like it's work at the post office. But if you try to get into the acting, but I think somebody said this, whatever that first role you take, you're gonna end up getting typecast like that. So this was a real talk decision. I'm sure a lot of actors had to make.
Yeah, and
especially during that time.
And they figuring, you can typecast me, but shit, as long as you're typecasting that check every week, I can eat. You know, that's what they're trying to do. You know. Right.
Yeah, we know, Chief. We know you wouldn't be able to get it all out. We almost done.
Nah, we're good.
Me too. And we can't get you out the phone.
All right, y'all. Hollywood Shuffle.
Let's rate this thing.
Final thoughts. Mike, rating. We're gonna go to Wilkes first.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I mean, I think, like I said in H-Rap and Doc, he kind of corrected me there. You know, this is a Robert Townsend seed that was planted, and a lot of things have branched. I mean, just looking up things that I looked up a list of movies that came out in '87. Black movies. Then of course Harlem Nights was there, and School Days was there, and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker was there and listed. And there were some other ones. I think it was like She's Gotta Have It or something.
She's Gotta Have It. Yep.
I mean, it definitely, and just think about later on, like how then the Wayans went into their own variety show, and we know as they Living in Color became a juggernaut.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, it was just awesome to see that. And I enjoyed this. I enjoyed watching it again because it brought back a lot of memories for me. Because as a kid, I mean, it's on TV, but it's over the head, like Doc said. Right. I didn't relate that. But then when you go back and you watch it, and it's like, yeah, we've been playing these stereotypical roles, and it's like, I mentioned it earlier. We were getting, well, I say we, but I guess some Black people were getting tired of the Boys in the Hood, the Menace to Societies, and and of course then we kind of kept going.
Think about it, Wilkes. You talked about how that being the seed, and even when you move into the In Living Color space, you got the Jamie Foxxes and J Lo. J Lo was in there. Jamie Foxx and her got into it. He goes, J Lo. I remember when you was J Ho. Back in the day, you smashing.
Right.
Or whatever. So I mean, just think about how big Tommy Davidson. You want to talk about underrated when you talk about Robert
Tommy Davidson.
David Allen Greer.
Underrated cats out there.
Yeah, and then like Jim Carrey. I mean, gosh. I mean, just some staying power right there alone.
If it was a situation where you get a little piece of everybody that done came from your thing,
right.
Them be so
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right, A-Trap.
I'm with 4 too, man. It's just it brought back on funny situations like batty, and I ain't got no weapon.
Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy.
Say
he was doing all the shucking and jiving. It was just hilarious. And then I like, I didn't even realize the end was a PSA to actors.
Yes.
Like, hey, don't sell out, and you can be the next super. And he getting Superman, and then he was like first Young Blood. And,
I saw this. Yeah.
So and I just thought about it, man. Like you said, this is 87, and that was right around the time and everything took off. Like you said, you had She's Gotta Have It, then Do the Right Thing, then She's Gotta Have It, School Days, Do the Right Thing, then Eddie exploded. And then in the 90s came the Menace movies and stuff like that. So this was, like I said, this might have been the seed.
Yeah. Right.
Because when this happened, you got the Cosby Show, School Days coming. I mean, everything came right after this. There was a wave of black cinema.
Oh, and real quick, to A-Trap's point, it was like just look at Different World, that Black Renaissance, the way they were dressing in cross colors and it was just one of those things where it was like it was another black resurgence, and it was just one of the movies. And look at Martin. Martin had a bunch of hip hop rap artists, other stars from different shows.
But wasn't it the FUBU guy who said once she wore my clothes on their show, that's when it took off? That kind of stuff. Yeah. So fashion, all that come.
Forgot about that. Yeah, the clothes. It was Black Renaissance again.
Yeah, and we were thinking back then, like when y'all just said that about FUBU, I'll never forget being a hip hop dude and seeing LL Cool J, and it was the beauty and being able to speak our own language. Yeah. LL Cool J is on a National Gap ad,
right? Right.
And they didn't blink so well.
Yeah,
they gave another commercial and he flipped it again. It was like
that's a perfect example to the Coke example and the Gerber example I got. They got somebody at those advertising agencies or who's shooting those commercials who that tells you right then and there they didn't have none of us in no prominent position. Right. Because we'd have caught that. We'd have been like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Gotta get over on us.
Right. Yeah. You can't imagine the albums, hip hop rap that dropped in that era and in that time. It was just a resurgence of Black Renaissance. It was
crazy. My God, man.
Yeah. All right, Doc.
I'm with the fellas. I'm with Wilkes and Mayhem and A-Trap with a 4. I think it's important that to state that IMDb gives it 6.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it an 85%, and on Rotten Tomatoes, that's
they're hard. They're pretty hard.
Yeah. And then 74% of Google users like it as well. So I think if you take all those into account, they right where we are. It's right at about a 4. And I think, to be perfectly honest with you, some people probably wouldn't rate it as high. Sexchat69.site has commented in the chat. They got hot girls for you if you're looking. Chief Rocker, you get that real down? Can you type that fast enough?
Don't click that on your phone.
We won't hear from Steve Rocker for 6 months because he be trying to get all them viruses and shit out of his phone.
Delete.
Control or delete.
But
can I control or delete on my phone?
Yeah, think about it. You could probably would get some higher ratings in a lot of the cinema that we do because people miss what's being said, or they miss some of the the high levels of humor or satire or whatever. They miss it, So I think it could have even gotten rated higher by the general public.
I was trying to relate this cover in the background, and then there's another cover which I thought there was a resemblance to a Kool in the Gang album, but I didn't find one that resembled this. But it just kind of reminded me.
The hair probably.
It kind of looked like the cover of Good Burger, though.
Yes, yep. Forgot about
It
that. Yep. And once again,
Afros.
Back up.
You know, this dude blew up so hard. Run DMC put him in the video with they got a gimmick group called the Afros.
Wow.
And they had Robert in the movie acting like
which makes sense. Yeah.
I mean in the video.
Afros, back up.
I want revenge.
My patience is on revenge. Yeah, and another shout out right there.
James
That was James Brown. Payback.
Yeah, that's right. On the floor where he was trying to get it. That's hilarious.
But that's back when we were thinking extra hard because you had to do it hard. Right.
Yeah, that's
really
right.
second chance.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why I said I love those little Easter eggs like that. I love when they do stuff. It's like I said, that Michael Jackson nod right away. I'm like, oh, this is a Thriller nod. I mean, they got her dressed just like the lady, and I was like, oh, it's perfect.
And then not thinking of that Marlon Wayans movie we did a couple months ago or a month ago or so, he did a lot of that. He referenced a whole lot of people.
Yeah, he referenced a few things in there. Matter of fact, there was one I felt. He referenced Homie the Clown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he Homie the Clown. So it was crazy.
Man, that family has impacted movies and TV for the past 25 years.
They need to do a 30 for 30 on them, don't they?
Really?
Yeah.
Really.
Think about 87 and 92.
One song or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't be a menace to society while drinking your juice in the hood.
And they all still doing stuff besides, Keenan, maybe more background stuff.
A lot of them behind the scenes.
More background stuff. Yeah. But now they're kids, is doing stuff. So I mean, yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I was gonna go 3.5 to 4, but I'm gonna give it a 4. Big Illinois says 4.
It's a solid 4, man.
Yeah, I think it had a lot of.
Yeah.
Watching it now, it had a lot of things that came after that pulled from that.
I would love to
see their greatness.
Yeah, I would love to see Robert Townsend kind of talk about this movie. I feel like he was before his time with this movie or something. I'd love to pick his brain because it's almost like maybe to some people and even him, he's like, well, they won't get it right now. But 30, 40 years later, 50, whatever the case is, it's full circle.
Yeah.
But
hopefully some of these actors get it too.
Yeah.
That was probably his, because I've been there.
Because it's funny. Like around this time is when C. Dolores Tucker and Calvin Butts, the hip hop community was beefing with them. And the sad thing is, C. Dolores and Calvin Butts called it. They said, if you keep letting these people rap like this, in the future they will be killing each other.
Yeah. No, that is true. I mean, it's happening. I mean, but then you got rappers now rapping about their own death, and then eventually later, it's like,
you shall have what you say.
Right.
Yeah.
Powerball tickets, Powerball winners. Oh.
You shall have what you say.
That works in good and bad.
Yeah.
All right, so we will not be back next week. To A-Trap, I think we probably do it in February, kind of like what we did last year. So we'll just do a second year. But we'll be returning on January the 9th with Descendant. So we're going to come to you with another hard hitter. It's on Netflix. And so enjoy some of the past shows during these next couple weeks. Enjoy some of the past shows. I may have some replays.
Maybe this may be a good time to replay for one of these weeks. What's the big one we had? Our first
Exterminate the Brutes.
Exterminate the Brutes. Maybe drop one.
That was a 4-parter.
I know it.
Maybe we do the first one.
Yeah, drop one of those.
Don't replay the Alice one.
Now we may need to do that one too.
Nah, hell no.
No, man, don't replay that. We ain't trying to scare the people off, man.
Exterminate the Brutes and something, man.
something else.
Oh, what about One Night in Miami? That was
there
our
you
first.
go.
We weren't forecasting. Oh,
yeah,
man.
we were just
that.
We were just the pick.
We were just four
Kind of
people.
randomly, it's kind of randomly going with it.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool for this kind of as the origin story kind of deal. Let people see it and advertise it as such. You probably get a lot of views.
Yeah. All right. What is coming up tomorrow on the End of the Bench?
What am I talking about? Hold 1 second. I ain't even looked at it. I wrote it out and never went back. Oh, so I'm just going to talk about a bunch of news stories and how we need to get our act together. It's going to be real. It's going to probably not even be an hour tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Talk about Geronimo Yanez. Talk about the 29-year-old brother who got shot in San Jose for nothing. And I'm going to talk about the lady, the people at Hertz, man. The people at Hertz, they jamming people, man. They renting out cars. They renting out cars and reported them stolen, and they
I was like, really, Hertz?
Giving black people jack roll, man.
Hertz don't need to be doing nothing. They had O.J. Simpson as a spokesman. They don't
really jumping over luggage.
Yeah.
At the airport. Y'all need to stop.
Oh man, that's dope. That would be dope. Black Dynamite. I was meaning to say that, like this kind of put me in the mind of Black Dynamite, because Black Dynamite was just 25 years later.
Yeah.
Now that's a cold classic, Black Dynamite.
Well, and actually, I was watching this on Tubi, and it said coming up next, Black Dynamite. So you've
never seen Black Dynamite?
Oh, it's in the same. It's in the same line.
That used to be my stage name.
Hey man,
at LeBaire.
Come to the stage.
Black Dynamite.
Not at LeBaire's.
Watch Black Dynamite. It's a treat. Michael John White. He playing this. He's playing a black 70s kung fu expert.
Yes.
They literally in one scene they literally have the boom mic. They're like,
it was on Netflix for a minute. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. And it's my favorite scene is in this fight scene. They filming the fight scene, and dude hit him, and he was like, "Look, man, what the?" Taking it to a fight.
He like broke camera.
And they cut it.
Yeah.
They cut it and then they bring it back. It's a whole nother dude. It's horrible. It is a
2009. Arsenio Hall is in it.
Yeah.
Arsenio Hall is hilarious in it.
It's a lot of people in
Hey,
there.
it's only free
in the Mac. It's
only free on Tubi. You got to pay for it everywhere else. Tubi coming through in the clutch.
Hey, Black Dynamite is that jam, man.
All right, what's coming up tomorrow?
It's like Pootie Tang, Black Dynamite, Black Dynamite, Pootie Tang. Greatest movies ever.
Unchangeable, huh? All right, Queen and King tomorrow.
Christmas in the City. It is our last show before Christmas, so we're gonna have a little Christmas show, a little serious talk, about the true meaning of Christmas and gift giving, and then we're gonna do some light stuff on your favorite gift, your worst gift, and stuff like that. We'll have special guest on Andre Jones of the Lunch Break Sports Show, radio legend, and we'll also have my buddy on there, my Negro, my man, 100 grand, Craig White.
Yeah, man. I've been waiting on this. I
couldn't even put, like I say, Andre Jones and the Lunch Break Sports Show on the promo. I put Craig White of Piggly Wiggly here because that's the only thing I can tie you to is a grocery store. So yeah, that ought to be something tomorrow. So real light show just before Christmas. So tune in tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time.
All right. Well, we will see you guys when we see you. Be sure
to
tune in.
Year.
Yeah, see y'all next year. Tune in to the Throwbacks and H-Rap. We'll kick it to you.
Girl, you already know it's the end of the year. Christmas is Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is. So I am short on money. So if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God. God.
Peace. See y'all.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Doc, and H-Rap-B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents the Fourcast, where H-Rap-B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.